the heart and soul behind every business. Stories. Welcome to Business Story of the Week, hosted by me, Joshua Laurie. From setbacks to comebacks, from tragedies to triumphs, we inspire entrepreneurs through conversations that matter. Witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. Whether it's your career, business, or life, your success is always one story away. This is Business Story of the Week.
This is Melissa Joyner. Welcome to Business Story of the Week.
Fantastic. And that is a lovely Melissa Joyner. She is our guest for today. I'm Joshua, your host. And boy, we've got quite ourselves a show here. Melissa Joyner is an award-winning director, writer, actor, vocalist, and professor. Her directorial debut, Reimagined Volume 3, Young Thang, merges captivating storytelling with emotional depth and visual brilliance. With an MFA from the Actors Studio, she honed her craft under mentors like Dr. Maya Angelou. Joyner has appeared in TV shows such as Mrs. America, Blue Bloods, and FBI, showcasing her dynamic range across various mediums. Today, of course, she will be joining us and she'll be talking about her insight, her experience. Melissa, I'm quite excited. How are you doing? Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for a gorgeous intro.
Well,
That
Melissa,
was
I
awesome.
can't possibly do you justice. I mean, this is quite again like the you've had quite the career as well, and very exciting stuff. You've come from different backgrounds as well, and that's where I really want to start off with this. I always want to start off with stories, the origin stories, so to speak. What was a
Mm,
young Melissa Joyner like? What was a young Melissa like? Was she always a theater kid? Did she love film? Did she always love music? What would the young Melissa say to the Melissa of today?
wow. Well, okay, now young Melissa loved theater, loved theater. Young Melissa was probably in the corner reading a book and didn't realize what time it was until her dad turns on the light because it's like 11 o'clock at night. It's like, oh, that's why I can't see.
That's too
I
funny.
just was a little mouse in a corner, reading, loving it, and then was introduced to theater. And I went to the Vinette Carroll Children's Theater, which Vinette Carroll is quite an
Hmm.
amazing woman, yeah, all in her own right, and have just loved it ever since. I think little Melissa would say, "Wow, you live in New York? Really?"
Oh wow! Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, getting to imagining that picture just now, like saying the young Melissa would be so ecstatic knowing that you've done theater, you're in New York of all places, and now you are
Yeah.
an actress in different TV as well. I mean, wow, what a thing to say to hear from your younger self. Of course, Melissa, you've done theater, you've also done television, you've done TV. Talk to us a little bit about the transition from that, or what got you to start on TV, and then from there, I guess how did this, I feel like it's a great foundation to lay on your storytelling journey, so to speak. So talk to us
Yeah.
about your television career as well.
Man, well, yeah, you always start with theater. And I think, coming
Hmm.
to New York, there's so much of it. And I just
Okay.
did it. And then slowly got my foot into commercials and really
Oh.
found that, like, being a commercial actor was such a fantastic avenue to get into
Hmm.
television, partially because you learn so much about how to act when you get there. Like what's
Hmm.
important, like learning your lines, learning where to go, learning where to stand, being consistent. Like you figure it out on something that is so truncated and short, where time is
Hmm.
so valuable. Like they're
Right,
like,
of
we
course.
only have an hour to get this shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh my
you
gosh. Yeah, I
you
imagine
really
that.
figure it out.
Hmm.
And it led me into television, and I've been really lucky to like be on some great shows here in New York, and Mrs. America, which you mentioned at the top. Such a phenomenal series written by women for women, produced about the Equal Rights Amendment, being in those spaces with, Needy Leaks and just so many amazing
Uh,
actors that
she
it's
was all. It was also headed by Kate Blanchett, Rose
Kate Blanchett. Yeah,
Byrne, Uzo Aduba, if I'm not mistaken.
absolutely. Yeah.
What
Great. I had a great
it's
scene with her. So fun.
it's oh yeah, I mean hadn't gotten the chance to really watching all of that, but now that you say that you have a scene with her, I'm gonna go back in there and definitely watch the rest of those episodes. But it's quite the show. It's really is like um again like one of like he's talked about an empowering story to tell, like a really empowering sort of show to have. What was it like being surrounded by that much talent, so to speak? That much star power is what they say, but I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, you know, some roles also have just as much talent, just as you are. You're just like yours. But what did it feel like having so much of the, so much of the bigger names around that, and being in the same scene, being in the same place as them? What did that feel like?
It's it's very humbling, right? It's a very humbling experience. It's a little out of body. Like you're sort of like, okay, you both have to tell your like fangirl self to be quiet, be quiet because you have
Wow.
work to do, right? But also you want to appreciate the moment. You want to be like, wow, you want to enjoy it. I really found myself trying to watch without making people feel like they were being watched. I was just
Interesting.
always trying to be aware and learn and pick things up. And I just considered every moment there like I was in a master class. Do you know, like it was like, this is the way a set works. Even when I'm not around, that it's like, okay, this is what these people do. This is what these people do. This is how folks talk to each other. These people, when they say hold, that means hold. I just really was trying to act like everything was a masterclass. And when I got to watch other actors work or watch other directors work or I just really tried to suck it all in, absorb it
Wow.
all.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's truly a fascinating experience because not many get to experience that first of all, and also like being surrounded with such talent. It's a great opportunity. I feel like for everyone to learn from everything. But you were so involved. I mean, you were there for the whole 6 episodes, and you have a very you've had a very significant role as well. And again, I invite our audience and listeners, of course, to check out that that series. It won a Primetime Emmy award as well, Mrs. America. Melissa, of course, you've done television, you've done theater. My, it's a great, I think, it's a great transition for when you talk about how television sets work. Because my question was like, how do you feel like these two worlds collide, and how having experienced theater and having experienced television as well, how do you feel like these two worlds have shaped your storytelling approach?
That's a really good question. Reimagined Volume 3 Young Thing was my, first thing ever.
Right, right, exactly.
Directing or writing. At this point, the series itself has been nominated for Peabody, and
Yes.
the creators involved are just phenomenal. But I'd never done it, and it was in a medium, virtual reality, that within itself is a medium that so few get to enjoy, let alone manipulate and storytell.
Yes,
And
precisely.
so it's funny, in the same role that I took when I'm surrounded by all this talent, I very much tried to do the same when I got my team together, was to recognize that the story's mine, the vision's mine, the execution in the end, it's this, but I'm surrounded by a lot of talent. And let me learn. Let me ask questions. Let me push and see where it goes. Let me say, I don't know. Show
That's
me. Show
awesome.
me what that is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It allowed me to be really vulnerable and trusting of the team around me. And I also think when you're on a film set, whether or not it be an NYU student film or, something Spike Lee's directing, you see that it's never one person.
Yes,
It
yes, absolutely.
takes, it never is, it takes a village,
A
from
village.
the person holding the boom
Mm,
to like the line editor to like everyone is a boss, a talent in their own
yes,
lane. And so
truly,
to
truly.
go in knowing this is going to take a group of people, and so
Mhm.
let's all do it, I think was really helpful.
I mean, first of all, that one thing is completely different. You have different a village, like you said, and different experts in their own lane, in their own fields, the best in their fields, going together and making everything work. That's one thing to make that work. But I understand, of course, for our audience and listeners out there, that your film VR, rather reimagined VR, which is the virtual reality animation series that you have written and directed yourself, by the way, is called again Volume 3, Young Thang. You had written and directed by you. This is a virtual reality animated series, and it's quite vivid, and it's an immersive storytelling, and I feel like it's a completely different realm as well than what you talk about in a physical setting, like in a physical set, so to speak. A theater or a television is completely different. Talk to us a little bit about the process surrounding that, and how did you manage the different significant changes or similarities, if there are any, from physical physical television theater set to now directing and writing a Peabody nominated virtual reality animation series. Talk to us about that, Melissa. It's fascinating.
Well, it all started with the script, and so I was kind of approached to see if I would be able to write a script that would fit into this series. And so a concept was put together and pitched, and luckily my concept was accepted. And then from there, it was about pulling together the creative team that would help build what was on the page in a VR animated space. So, pulling together the team, we had lead animator, art director Zoe Rowland, and assistant art director Tyler Friedel, production designer Samia Khalif. We had a slew of animators, so VFX artists, environment artists. So it's like you start to pull those people together, and it was a series of Zoom meetings and Slack notifications and
Wow.
right, and like images,
Hmm.
Pinterest boards and
Wow.
Canva board. It's just, it was a lot of that to kind
Hmm.
of say this is what's here and this
Hmm.
is what's on the page. Show me what you got. And so often than not, I would come back with far better, like, or even not it, or even
Completely different.
I that is gorgeous. That's exactly
Hmm.
what was in my head.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's phenomenal. Like you just
Wow.
have to keep working, keep working. And it took a
Hmm.
lot of, okay, I'm in headset now. Okay, I'm watching
Right.
it. Here,
Right.
can we pause? Can we turn this up? Can we move this to the left? Can we? No, we can't, because then it's going to shut everything down. We're getting too heavy. And you start to
Hmm.
have those conversations about
Hmm.
um tech over like your art. Like what is it that you want, because it's going to cost something. Everything is an ebb and flow, and so it really was a team. And I think on some level, watching, being on film sets and respecting other voices, and also knowing that, also being an actor and realizing that people talk in all different languages, so you have to
Hmm.
say, well, an image works really well with this person, but with this person I have to record myself
Oh,
doing
wow.
the
Interesting.
action
Interesting.
so that then you can animate it, because we're not. So it was a lot. It was a lot of collaboration, and so exhausting and so fun and so
I mean,
and so great.
I can imagine the level of collaboration that it's required. I mean, you talk about Slack notifications, Zoom meetings, a lot of virtual stuff. It's almost like a virtual job, a work from home online
Yes.
virtual job, but at the same time, it's very creative, very immersive, so to speak. Was there any how difficult was it kind of transitioning from that? Did you feel like it was hard to kind of bring this story into virtual reality, so to speak. And again, the story is about reimagining folklore and fables and mythology in a gender inclusive experience. Again, it's very, very, very fascinating, very interesting. Nominated for a Peabody. What was the inspiration behind this story, Melissa? And again, like what was the story behind writing this?
Hmm. Well, yes, the series is about reimagining sort of fairy tales that we're already aware of, but from, well, fairy tales, but from different cultures. And so when invited to participate, I was looking for African American fairy tales and found that difficult because in the end, my fairy tales are your fairy tales. It's like there was a strong disconnect between finding an African American one, and there so it led me into Nigeria, where the stories were a little more clear. And I stumbled upon The Woman with Two Skins, a Southern Nigerian folktale. And the title alone made me stop. And when I read it, it was so much about code shifting and covering your beauty to fit in and your worth and your value and community and what is community. It was about so many things that I knew that that was the story that I had to reimagine. It made me feel creative, and when I reimagined it, I did so knowing my medium. I did so knowing that I could have a particular sort of fun with my audience. It was one of the things that drew me to the story because I knew that if I was doing a piece about insects and a human, immediately I could play with scale. I could play with size. I can make you feel like an insect and I can make you feel like a human being in the same storyline. And it would be kind of a pushing the envelope on your experience.
Right, right.
Um, I knew that I wanted it to be about seeing something through someone else's eyes. Like, what is
Right.
it like to hear a story from someone else's point of view? And so I knew that therefore it would be okay to make you
Hmm.
small and then to make you big
Wow.
and so that was a lot of it. And that's how it all came about. I think
Hmm.
it was just like a spinning once I found the story and I knew the medium and I knew the fun that we could have. Um, and I knew this was a bit of one of them where I wasn't sure if the powers that be were going to go for it, but
Hmm.
I knew I wanted it to be flat. And
Interesting.
it felt like, why do you want something flat in VR
Exactly.
where it's about,
You know.
and yeah, like, why are you going flat? And I knew that I wanted an allegory between forcing your voluminous full self into something small and
Hmm.
flat. And I thought it might be a very cool experience to feel like you're in a pop-up book, to walk past
Wow.
something and the dimension. Like, how often do you get to have that experience? There's
Wow.
always four sides, but in my world, that's it. It's just that.
Hmm.
Um, and so, but what turned out was that was great because so
Hmm.
much of the world was flat. It allowed us to have a little more fun
Hmm.
with other things because we weren't as heavy
Hmm.
in such and such places. So we
Yes.
got to really
Wow.
use it up on different stuff.
I
It was an amazing experience.
I mean, I love it because it's immersive storytelling. Like the VR,
Hmm.
the goal of VR is to immerse the viewers, the audience, into a story, like make them feel like they're part of a story. Having, I feel like that flat concept is a different kind of immersion, right? Like he's talking about pop-up books and getting to be in there, and not. I feel like you said, like a 3D world is its own appeal, as its own kind of overwhelming, but at the same time, you guys took, dialed that back in and got to spend a lot more of that time on the story, maybe the visuals as well. Melissa, how are you looking at immersive storytelling into the future? Do you feel like it'll be more of a norm, in in award shows, in TV, in movies? Do you feel like going forward in the entertainment industry, do you feel like VR immersive stories and pictures and movies and like yours and stories like yours, do you feel like it would be a huge part of the entertainment industry?
We do. I think we're just a few steps away. Almost. Do you? It's like if we can recall a time where the concept of the iPhone was insane, like where people would say there is no way someone will spend $700 on a phone. There was a point in time where iPhone didn't exist, and then it came out, and it was like absolutely not. Now, now your 6 year old niece has one, right? And I think that when the ability to enjoy it becomes like that,
Hmm.
it really will be one of those things that like everyone just has in their home. My hope is that it's an expansion of mediums, that other mediums don't fail because this one rises.
Hmm.
But I think it can be such a specific experience, and it can be life changing. And
Hmm.
when we premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival, their
Yes.
VR, and you saw everything from it being used in medical procedures, which
Hmm.
is already there, where people are already trying to,
Already.
help you. Yeah, it's already being used in that device, and then it's being used with music videos, and then it's being used kind of in that more interactive way. Mine is a sit down film, but where you're
Hmm.
going through and kind of experiencing different rooms and spaces. It's such it's literally a blank slate that you can
Hmm.
build. There's power in the individuality of that, and my hope is that it will just continue to grow.
I mean, the hope there is definitely more opportunities for different artists as well, and
Yes.
different art forms, different types of storytelling. I mean, that's where it is. I mean, that's what it is. It's not, at the end of the day, it's like a different way to tell our stories, and stories really shape us. It's immersing ourselves in stories and different experiences. I mean, that's the goal, is it not? How about you, Melissa? Speaking of future, you are a Peabody nominee. I still can't get over that. By the way, congratulations, Peabody Award nominee. What is the future looking like for Melissa Joyner? What are your future aspirations?
Man, I'm hoping to be able to work together again with the creatives of the Reimagined series, Julie Cavalier and Michaela Holland. They are phenomenal women pushing things forward, making so many moves. So I'm hoping that we can connect again in the future. I'm been asked to do, speaking engagements, which really are very exciting to connect with people about this experience, about directing. I continue to teach, I continue to act, and I'm just going to keep pushing and really hope that the platform for creators, for black creators, for female creators just continues to push and grow and flourish. There are just so many beautiful stories to be told.
Love it. I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
Melissa, once again, like, congratulations on the nominations. Congratulations on the VR film, the VR story that we have out there for our audience and listeners out there. ReimagineVR.com. Go check that out right now. And of course, Melissa, where else can we find you? Where else can we connect with
I am at The Real Meljoy on all the platforms,
you?
at The Real Meljoy, and melissadjoyner.com. And that's where you can find a little more detail about the work that I do.
Fantastic. MelissaDJoyner.com, at the Real Meljoy, on all the socials. ReimagineVR.com. Melissa, thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you so much. This was so lovely.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. To all our audience listeners out there, thank you for watching the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as Melissa and I did enjoy this. Thank you for watching the episode. We will see you on the next one. Bye bye.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.